Hello, my name is Anna and welcome to my channel. As I promised in the previous video, today we will speak about the bias. Let's start. One of the biggest mistakes is to think that AI bias is something always obvious. As a product owner, you do not expect this, and of course you do not consider it in your requirements, because you expect bias should do something extremely wrong, a clear unfair decisions, a broken algorithm, but most of time bias appears very quiet, not as a technical failure. The pattern, what it's provided to the algorithm, nobody notices it. So let us speak about this deeper, what exactly happens and how to recognize this in your feature. Let you imagine the following use case. An AI system performs very well, you are happy with it, accuracy looks very strong, and of course the business KPIs improves continuously. But over the time, you start to notice that sometimes the group consistently receive worse outcomes. And here most tricky part, this happens not because anyone intended it. This can happen because the system quietly started to learn the patterns from the historical algorithm decisions and of course started to scaling them automatically. And this is exactly what makes AI bias dangerous for the product owners. Because if you don't actively look for it, you never might have seen it at all. So let's take a practical example here. Imagine you are product owner, product manager, working on an AI system for the loan approvals. The system analyzes applications and helps decide who should receive a loan. At first, everything looked successful. Approvals are faster, the process are smoother, of course. Customers are happy for this. People are excited to have this as automated feature. And nothing, of course, seems to be wrong for the first look. But after a few weeks, you as a product responsible start to have a feeling that the system provides the outcomes on the strange manner. That's why it's important sometimes to have a look into your own system from the customer perspective. And this happens not because somebody immediately reports an issue. Usually, this starts much more smaller than you can imagine. The system learns from the historical data continuously. Maybe during a weekly product review, someone from analytics shares approval numbers. One time after you receive the support requests on the second, third week, these are small red flags that it might be some bias in your system. And here, when you look into the metric Dynatrace, the automation rates might increase, everything looks fine. But here, there might be a really good question. What happens when we divide the data into the several groups? And how is decision in that case is taken? And this is an important question when you want to recognize the bias in your system. Different age ranges, different income levels, locations, and so on. And suddenly a pattern might appear exact here. Applicants from certain areas are getting rejected much more often than others, not consistently. And this is important. Nothing looked wrong at the overall level, but the average model accuracy still looked strong, which is exactly why bias can stay hidden for the long time and nobody can notice anything, even the customers, because average often hide uneven outcomes. And this is usually the moment where teams realize what is important here. The AI feature itself needs monitoring, not only technical monitoring, no, decision monitoring. Because if you only monitor your uptime, latency, gaps, leaks, and so on, this is overall accuracy. You miss the monitoring split to the different groups of your customers. Not to forget to decide which classifications should happen before you implement your feature. And here from this time, as a good product owner, you should start introducing monitoring differently. You don't only track here how fast the model responds or model accuracy, you also monitor the decisions, how the decisions are distributed across different groups. Here is example. Approval rates by region or by age. False positive and false negative across demographics. Also, how often certain groups are escalated for manual review. And this becomes incredibly important here to set this monitoring, because now the system is no longer a black box for you. You can actually observe patterns over time. And these monitoring capabilities become product features themselves. You create dashboards, alerts, reporting views, and the whole regular review process. For example, you might define if approval rates between groups drift beyond the certain threshold, the system automatically should trigger the alerts. And this is where governance starts to become operational, not theoretical anymore. This is operational monitoring of your compliance and of your governance. And this might be also another case when the system learned from the manual decisions from the human beings, but these decisions were also biased. So it starts reproducing those patterns automatically and at scale. And this is usually a moment when the product owner begins seeing AI differently. You realize that the data is not only just a technical input, it's always also product logic as well, because the system makes decisions based on the patterns from the past. And this is where one of the most important product owner responsibilities begins: learning how to detect these bias practically. One of the biggest mistakes of the teams, they are looking only on the overall model accuracy, because average can hide unfair outcomes. A model can show 55% overall accuracy while performing significantly worse for one specific group. And if nobody looks deeper, that problem stays invisible forever. So, one of the concrete things you should do as a product responsible is ask for segmented performance analysis. Not only how accurate is the model overall, but how does the model perform across different groups. And believe me, this will change the conversation immediately. And this, of course, should happen as early as possible, not after release. Best case, you do it already during the refinement and during the model review decisions. For example, you can introduce your fairness checkpoints into the product process in your requirements. We spoke enough about the detecting of the bias, but let us go to the next relevant topic: how to reduce the bias. And usually, let's start with the data. Maybe one of demographic group is underrepresented. Maybe the training examples are too narrow. Maybe also certain situations barely exist in the dataset. So the team may need more balanced data, additional databases, or even different sampling of approaches. But reducing bias is not only a data problem, it's also a product design problem as well. For example, imagine the users are only see a final AI score. Over the time, people may stop questioning the system. They just trust the output automatically. So questioning the decision is always important. And that creates another kind of risk when you do not do this. This is something called automation bias, and it becomes especially dangerous in the high-impact system like medicine. As a product responsible, you might redesign the workflow of itself. Maybe high-risk decisions require mandatory human review. Maybe the interface shows confidence levels. Maybe uncertain decisions automatically trigger escalation flows. Maybe also user can challenge outcomes. So as you see, there are different kinds of possibilities to prevent these mistakes. And this is not just governance ideas anymore. These are product features as well that should be in your product backlog. On this point, let us go to the another important topic, explainability. Imagine somebody asks, why was my application rejected? And the only answer available is because of the AI decision. AI decided this. That, of course, a little bit tricky. It creates a trust problem immediately by the customers, not only legally, but from the product perspective as well. Now, as AI feature owner, you need to start thinking differently about the explainability. Not full technical transparency, but meaningful explanations why this decision was made, clear enough for people to understand the outcomes. Here is another example, showing which factors influence the decisions, highlighting uncertainty level again on the UI, or explaining why additional review is required. Again, this becomes concrete backlog items, part of your product design and part of your development from the beginning. Well, this is where AI governance became very practical for the product owners. People often think governance is mostly documentation. No, this in our future as product responsible will become more and more important to understand. And when you think a little bit broader, you will notice that the good governance is much more operational than that. It's about designing mechanism inside the product that continuously detect the risk, surface the problem earlier, and of course reduce the harm over the whole time of the product usage. And this also includes the documentation, useful documentation, focused on the different kind of stakeholders. For example, you can put in your documentation the model limitations or tracking fairness metrics. You can try to link the risk to the specific features or even record where human review is required. What's important here, this is connected directly to the whole product life cycle. Because once the system is released, the work does not stop. You should try to recognize the whole new patterns after the release as well. It's continuously top. That's why also important here to have the monitoring in the end. Which means fairness is not something you validate once. It requires continuous monitoring. Let me summarize. After the launch, you are not only tracking business KPIs anymore, you also monitor uneven rejection patterns, demographic inconsistencies, unusual trends, also maybe unexpected behavior over time. And when, after the release, the new issues appear, they come back directly into your product development as a new backlog item, which should be also reviewed and refined. New backlog items, new reviews, new refinements. Well, over time, as you can see, governance stops feeling like an external compliance exercise. It becomes more and more part of building major AI products. And maybe this is the biggest mindset that shift for the product owners working with AI. You are not longer only building features. You should start shaping the system that influence decisions, opportunities, and outcomes for the real people. And this is, of course, your mindset as a product owner, which means product quality is not longer only about the functionality. It's about fairness, accuracy, transparency, and also risk awareness. And no one of these things happen automatically. They explicitly need to be intentionally designed throughout the entire product life cycle, from the feature definition to the refinement, to the development, and of course, to the monitoring after the release. Well, today we are in the end of this topic, and if you like this video, don't forget to put the comment, to give the like, and to follow me for the next interesting topics about the AI in the product development.